anybody hear me? One like, yeah.
Yeah, it even shows it.
Yeah, yeah. On here. Oh, it's so much fun learning new skills, isn't it? Week 1 is on. That's camera 2. You can turn that off. Did you see the agenda?
Hang on. No, I'm not getting it yet. No, I don't see anything here. I'm still getting the 3 banners and then the tray with the Joel tags on them, which I've since removed.
You're watching the wrong one. I'm definitely live. People can hear me.
Okay.
There's a lot more than that on the site now, so it's a lot of pens to take. Okay, we're just gonna wait and see if we get a few viewers. I don't know what's going on with Facebook. I've never been able to get it to work. I tested it and it was working, and then now it doesn't want to start, so we will be on YouTube only. Did you try going? Okay, helps to turn the microphone on. I turned it off because we were chatting here about trying to get Facebook working, but Facebook just doesn't want to work, so I give up on it. It did the exact same thing to me last time. It was supposed to start, didn't start, so Facebook is a no-go. So I'm just going to do a quick post here. It doesn't want to work. Looks like I'm definitely gonna give up on the Facebook. So is the audio working now? Thank you. Awesome. I'm out of practice. I was getting good at this before I decided to take a couple months off, and now it's like being a beginner again. But it looks like I got it working. On YouTube. Never on Facebook, though. But oh well. I don't think people find me on Facebook very much. Apparently I'll be able to stream to Instagram in the future as well. I'll just have to figure out how I can do both YouTube and Instagram at the same time. But while we're waiting for people to join, anybody have any questions? Corrine, it was great. It's one of those vacations I didn't really want to come back from. I missed the shop, but I was really enjoying myself. It was good to get out. I met a few customers in different countries and went to a few different stores. Bought a few things. Bought my traveler's notebook, which I'm actually starting to use with my to-dos and drawings. I think I might even started a pen design in here. A little overexposed, but yeah, so I finally found in Singapore with my friend Merrick. No, actually, sorry. That I got in Singapore. This I found in Melbourne. It's an actual tool pen, but blue. I had never seen the blue before. Which was fun, so yeah. I didn't buy any pens on the trip. I just bought a few pencils. Yeah, funny, Russell. The chalkboard was here. I guess there was a union that was in this office before us, and that's who had the chalkboard. So it was here when I got here. I've got to get a better chair so I can raise myself and the table up so that the chalkboard actually isn't cutting through me. But that, or I'll get a better background. I plan on doing quite a few more lives in the future. Wow, closing this. If Boston's not big enough to support a store anymore, that's a little bit scary. The store that I went to in Singapore, which was Fook Hing Trading Company, was tiny, but they had lots of pens in there. There wasn't they didn't have a lot of other stuff, but they had lots of pens. And then Melbourne, Sydney, there was a really good store, and in Melbourne there was a good store as well. So I got to a few stores. I went to 2 in Singapore, actually, with Merrick, one of my customers that I met there. You'll see old age is setting in. I can see the screen behind me with the chat perfectly with no glasses on, but I need the glasses to see everything else in front of me, so you'll see me flipping. And then I have another pair for close-up. Not a whole lot of fun. All right, well, what time is it? It's 12 after, so I guess we'll get started. So, first order of business. The website is live right now, ready for purchases. Everything should be working. Check out everything, but there is a difference, and that's really the whole theme of tonight is the difference. So I'm going to push this over here, and I believe, yes, you should be able to see my website now. Russell, yeah, I would love to do that if I knew how. Let me just take a quick look. I thought it did it automatically. It certainly did last time. Bookmark. See, I'm learning. I got a good friend that does this all the time, and we're going to chat next week, and hopefully he can fill in all of the blanks for me for the stuff that I am missing. But I have, I've announced it several times, and let me look. There may be a way to send out. No, I don't think so. I think you have to do it when you're setting it up. Yeah, I sent one out on Instagram, and most of my followers are on Instagram. I think there's only a couple hundred on YouTube. They make it so difficult for you to work with the different companies. Sure. I think if I start messing with it now, I'll ruin what I've got going on already. Okay, so as you can see, the big announcement, the big changes that I'm making now that I've relaunched the website is I have separated nibs and pens. For the first few years, I sold every pen with a nib in it. And that's the standard operating procedure for makers. Sell it with a pen, goes out as a completed working pen. But lately it's gotten to the point where I have so many people that'll say a follow-up, hey, can I get it without a nib? Do you have gold nibs? Do you have titanium nibs? Do you have any custom grinds? So that led me to realize that people weren't getting necessarily what they wanted from me, in that essentially they get a Bach or a Jowo nib. That's your choice. With pens with the number 8 nib, I had no way to sell them because there's 2 different options for number 8 nibs. So I hadn't even put those up, and I stopped making them because I couldn't differentiate. So all of those things led me to believe that it would be much easier to sell the pen and then choose your nib. So what I've done now is you would take your pen and then you go to the corresponding page and choose your nib. So that way, if you want a polished steel or a floral or a two-tone or a gold tone, or I even had, like I've had for a while, I've had black oxide I didn't even know I had, and the flex. The flex are a few dollars more. But now you can choose. When you choose a Jowo, you have so many different options. Thanks, Russell. I'll look into that for sure. It will make it easier. I think the last time I also had a push from the Pen Addict, so that got quite a few people in as well. So yeah, so now you can choose the nib that you want, and or no nib at all. If you've already got a lot, I find a lot of people already have a ton of Jowo, a ton of Bach nibs. So now you can, in the Bach nibs, I've got all the different ones, the two tones. I've had black and red lacquered for months and months, and I've never been able to sell them because there's no way to differentiate. And the other part was there's no way to track inventory. So by selling the nibs as a separate item, I can now fully track the inventory and give you the choice that you want for the pen that you want. Now, the caveat is that I am a pen maker and I'm selling pens. I'm not a nib salesperson, so I'm not going to be selling the nibs on their own. If you wanted more than one, as long as you contact me and arrange it ahead of time, but anybody that just buys nibs, I'd probably just refund it right away, because again, it's very difficult for me to keep them all in stock. And then this is the oops, one quick second, I need to add a few things to the site because the grinds aren't there. So
You had them in a separate.
yeah, hold on one second. There's always one thing that's going to go wrong. But the nice thing is it's easy to fix. I don't know if you can hear the wind here, but we are having such a storm. I'm hoping the power doesn't go out. But it has been like this for the last few hours. It's so loud. I actually had to climb out the window and attach a piece of siding because it was making so much noise. Ah, there it is. Okay, fixed. Okay, so this is the other main reason that I'm doing this. I've started with one for now, but I'm working with Mark Bacchus, aka Nib Grinder, and he is doing nibs for me. So what I'm doing is I'm ordering pre-ground nibs in advance so I can stock them, so that if you want a pre-ground Mark Bacchus nib with your pen, you can get it at the time you buy the pen. So that's, to me, that's the way to go. That way you don't have to buy a nib from me, send it to him, wait 3 months for your time in his queue, and then get it sent back to you. All that stuff can be cut out by me stocking his most popular grind. So I've got a place in his queue for my nibs. Of course, we're going to adjust it as sales go, but we're going to keep some of his better stuff in place, and we'll slowly add other grinds if necessary. I'll be looking for feedback on that. I'm also talking to Kirk Spear and the Nib Tailor. So I want to stock them. I can control the inventory, and you can buy a London Penco pen with a ground nib in it. Now, of course, if you want a Jowo ground nib, you have to buy one of the pens that takes a Jowo. Again, I have to choose those when I make them, so it's kind of like a who knows what people want to buy. But from Kirk, I'm going to get ground box, and Nib Tailor will do ground box as well. So I will eventually have a variety of grinders pens in stock. And I also, once sales get back up and running, I will then stock some Jowo Bach Gold, maybe some titanium number 6s. I'll keep a stock of those as well, so that if people are looking for a gold nib, they can just choose it. They don't have to contact me, say, hey, how much to upgrade to a gold nib, and the back and forth. If I have it in stock, you'll be able to just go and choose it. If I don't have it in stock and it's quicker for you to get the nib from Meister Nibs, just buy it without the nib, order the nib from him, and Bob's your uncle. You get the pen you want with the nib that you want. So that's the whole reason behind going this way. And I think it's going to work out great. Mark's a great person to deal with. I've already got the next set of nibs sent to him and put in the queue. And it's all going to be a matter of managing the inventory. So also in nibs, so now I have some number 8 nibs in stock. I have a few pens that take number 8. And so I've got the Magna Carta and I've got some number 8 titaniums. Now, if you look, also the pens, like the nibs are like at the full retail that you would have. But if you go to my pens now, my pens have all dropped in price. And they've dropped in price kind of more than they would with the nib. So there's actually going to be a savings going forward as well. But the nib prices are priced to go with a pen. If you buy a pen with a nib, it'll be slightly less expensive than they were before. Yeah, Corrine, I've been thinking about this for probably 2 years. I've had nibs sitting in the drawer not being used because I had no way to sell them properly. Because if I sell a pen with a nib, there's no way. Well, there are ways. I guess if you're had sophisticated software or a web developer, but hey, look, I'm small, 2-man shop with Fior. We just don't have the time or skills to build a website with a menu to upgrade your nib to this and that. So this is a happy medium for me. And it allows people to buy pens without the nib. If you want to get your nib from Kirk, or, I have customers who are like, yeah, but I have 5 Jowo grinds that I love. I just want the pen. And this will now satisfy them as well. So that's, that's the way you can see here. I'm going to pull up this thread. I have, in stock, I've got some of his Fudes, the Fine CSI, Fine Architect, a bunch of others. I just pulled these one quickly. So these are already done, already ground by Mark. So this is a Fine Architect, already ground by him, tested by him, all ready to go. I'm also considering, I'm going to get my laser up and running, and I'll probably eventually start engraving the nibs as well with my logo or something. That's another future project. Yeah, I understand that, BL, and I tell Canadians just reach out to me. Because I have a solution for that. We can go offline and you can pay by e-transfer. The thing is, Canadians are 5%, maybe 5% of my customer base. 90% is U.S. All of my suppliers are U.S. And if I don't operate in U.S. currency, I get massacred by PayPal. Then I have to transfer it back to US, so I get hit both ways. So everybody in the world knows their exchange rate to US dollars, and it just made it simpler. I looked at going to a website that would do multi-currency, and it just was too much for me to do at this point in time. It's something that I'm hoping Squarespace, which is where I host, will eventually come out with a multi-currency version so you can shop and pay in your own currency. But at this moment in time, it's not available. I could look to go to Shopify, but I just have too many other things to put my energy into, like some new models, new materials, that sort of thing. So on the site, yeah, the credit card companies infuriate me too. Trust me, PayPal makes almost as much off a pen as I do some days. It's almost, I think, for a regular pen, almost $9 in transaction fees for me to use PayPal, but you gotta do it. So there are lots of new pens on the site. There was some stock that we took down before we went, and it's back up there, but there's a ton of new stuff. New materials to me that I had gotten, made pens out of before I left. Some old favorites. Lots of cellulose acetate. Lots of Bob Dupress and BBC, and of course Brooks and Turnt Pen Co., and lots of acrylics. I'll be doing a lot more acrylics going forward as well. Anybody have any other questions? I've got a few more items to discuss tonight, just simple stuff, but if you have any questions about the nibs and why I went that way, that'd be great. Well, they're all for sale, so you can click on them and add them to your cart, and then go and select your nibs. And what I did do is the converter price is rolled up into the nib price. So I kind of have to have set nib pricing, just the way that I purchase them. So I've included the converter in the nib price. So if you do need a converter and you didn't want a nib, I'll have to figure that part out. Sorry, this chat, I'll move. I'm still figuring out this whole setup as well. I've got multiple cameras that I can use. Then I can put my screen up there. It's just learning how to do it all at once myself, and how to not be looking down and just showing you my bald head all the time. I'm working on that as well. I think I've got a way to do that using a teleprompter as my screen, so I'm looking right at the camera. But this is fun. So if I look at go back to the agenda. So the website is back up. The website's back up. The nibs changed. I'll talk about the pen show in a second. And let's go back to the chat. Credit card companies are not allowed to charge a fee for using one's credit card. Yeah, it's really strange. Like now in Canada, like a lot of countries around the world now, me as a vendor, if you use a credit card, I can charge you up to 1.9% as a service fee for using your credit card. Now, I wouldn't do that, but it is legal, and there are a lot of people doing that now. So, yeah, credit card companies are very, very greedy. They always get their cut, and they take it right off the top. Okay, so back to the agenda. Pen show schedule. So I'm going to be at 2 shows in the U.S. this year. I'm going to be at DC because that's a fun show. A lot of makers go to it, so it's a fun time to get out there and meet the community and meet people. And I'm also booked to go to the San Francisco Pen Show now. So I'll be at San Francisco the 23rd, 24th, 25th of August. And of course, then I'll be going to the London, England show again because we'll be there on holiday. And then Toronto show for sure. So those will be the 4 shows I go to this year. Of course, the London, believe it or not, the London and Toronto one-day shows have actually been the most successful for me, and I have the biggest sales at those shows. The multi-day shows are good, but nothing like the one-day show. It's just a feeding frenzy of purchasing, which is fun. Very difficult to keep up to, though. Alrighty. Okay, and then next on the agenda, the future of the lives. And this is one that I'm looking for feedback on, what people want to see. First of all of the custom nibs, where I'm going to take make some pens and call them testers. And I'll put one of each of the nibs in, and we'll do some writing samples and play around, because I want to learn how they work and make sure that I know the angles to hold them at and that sort of thing. And I'll maybe even hopefully be able to get Mark on a live stream as well to chat about his grinds in the future. Yeah, Russell, we don't want any more of those shipping problems, that's for sure. For those that didn't know, I think anybody that knows me knows about that craziness, but you know, the pen community made it up to me the next weekend when I did my first live pen show anyway. So it worked out in the end. I'm up in the air. The Florida show is one I haven't decided on yet. So I have to make a decision soon, because I'll have to book a flight and hotel. But I'm not sure yet. Because I got into the San Francisco show, I'm likely not going to go to the Florida show this year. I gotta switch to the pens. The pens are a lot better looking than I am, so we'll keep those on the screen for now. Has anybody got any questions about the models, what I'm doing with the nibs? I think the California Pen Show is on while I'm away, because I'll be away next year till the end of March. And I have no choice in the matter. It's all booked by my wife. Yeah, February definitely gone. The weather here in Canada is just, it's not great, and I can do my main job, my main business remotely. And next year, I've got Fiora. I probably won't shut the website down next year. I'm hoping to have scheduled releases that can happen while I'm away. And I said my main business, my main thing I can do remotely from anywhere in the world, which is fantastic. Yeah, so again, BL, I'm just reading back in the comments. Just DM me. Say, hey, I'm a Canadian. I want this pen and whatever, and all I do is I make up an invoice, and you can e-transfer me the money. That way you don't get hit with all the extra fees. Because it's bad enough that I got to charge HST to Canadians, but then to get hit with the exchange rate on top of it, it's not fun. I thought about doing a second second site, but I could never control the inventory. So I will maybe look at Shopify later in the year, but when I looked at them, their fees were crazy because they took fees on fees, and it didn't look like it was going to be a good fit. Because the other thing I try and do is I want to keep my price of my 3-piece pens down. So, hello, Mr. Tello. You like those pens? Mr. Tello and I are going to do a collaboration for the DC Pen Show. If I get off my butt and make the sections and get them sent to him. See, that's the problem with live versus a Zoom call. I have to talk all the time. And when I got home from the trip, I got super sick. It was probably COVID, and I had this cough, this nagging cough, and anytime I talked, I would cough. My wife was very happy. A shipping charge to the U.S. Shipping charge to the U.S. I think is $11 or $12, $16. I forget. Let me check. There, you can take a look at some of the pens there. Sorry, I have to go and pages. No. They never put anything easy to find. I believe shipping to the U.S. is $16 US. Europe and Australia and places like that are in the $22, $24. Canada is that same 16, I believe. If they would make it easy to find. There it is. 1 second. $14. Canada Post USA is 14 US. It's actually 16 US in Canada because Canada's crazy, and it costs me more to ship 2 hours down the road than it does to ship all over the US. Mr. Brooks, how are you? I'm going to figure out how to do this live. I think I can do live straight to Instagram. But I don't know if I can do straight to Instagram and to YouTube at the same time, which will be difficult. And I tried Facebook and got everything set up for Facebook. It said it was going to go live on time and then never did. Just I must be doing something wrong. Like I said, I've got a friend. He does a live to YouTube and Facebook every Thursday night. I'm going to talk to him next week. Jonathan, I hope you're casting. I need those blanks. I don't have any material. Jonathan, I'm gonna. I think it was. There was a. I'm gonna try and find it, Jonathan, but there was a PM one that was just ridiculous. I just can't remember whether it was a 14. Yeah, that one's pretty good, but I think, was it a faceted cap? Yeah, there we go. Look at that. This one was crazy good. The greens and everything were really wicked in this one. I think there's also a Nona. Oh, somebody bought a pen. Here I am looking and somebody bought a pen. So, oh, geez. Somebody bought another pen. Ah, here it is. Jonathan, this was spectacular. I've never seen this. I think this is from that latest batch she sent out that was really bright. But wow. This one almost didn't go up on the website. It is that nice. I'm pretty sure it'll go. You can see I actually lowered the price of the Nonas even more than the nib price. I've gotten a lot better at making them, so there's a lot, I wouldn't say a lot less sanding to them, but there's less sanding to them, so I've lowered the price a little bit. There was another really neat one, not sure where, but, and the PM4s, of course. Yes, Jonathan, you could send me 100 just like that. Those will sell very, very, very well. This Good Intentions was awesome. Like, I think you told me the Good Intentions, you changed your mix up a bit, and I really like it. Cliffside Sunset's beautiful, and the PM4 is still my favorite. Yeah, BL, I'm going to be doing a bunch of lives, so I'll probably be focusing on the nibs next, but every time I do a pen release, I'll be doing a live broadcast before the pen release. So what I'll do is usually on the Friday night, I'll do the live, and then people that join the live will actually have a 24-hour head start on everybody else for buying the pens in that release. Well, Tim has 150 or so types of blanks, so good. Either probably half the pens on my site that say unknown user or unknown blank maker are probably his, but I just can't find them. Can't find the name. All right, I'm going to probably sign off here, and then I might actually go live. Oops. My chair doesn't work. I might try and go live on Instagram just as a bit of a test tonight as well. See if it works, because you can now go live from your machine with the software setup that I have. I just don't know what it's going to look like in that portrait format. So, any other questions for me? Well, it seems to be working. Oh, it's perfect. Perfect. So I had three sales since I launched the website. 2 chose nibs and 1 person didn't choose nibs. So that I think what I'm doing is going to work out well for everybody, and hopefully then people will be able to get the grinds that they like, and I'll add more vendors as I get them. I have a bunch of Toronto Pen Company grinds done, but I have to talk to him because I have to get his current pricing, because he does some neat stuff, some Concords and Fudes and stuff as well. Nice. And somebody chose a ground nib. Perfect. So I think it's going to work out well. Oh, I need practice. Jonathan, I was just saying earlier that I got out of practice on doing these lives by being away. So I got to get better at it again with the lower thirds and the camera switching. I did record this whole thing properly this time. So I'm going to have something to edit. And then maybe you'll be able to, probably not this one, but in the future, I'll be able to make little reels and content for TikTok out of them as well. So yeah, knock the rest off. It doesn't help that I've been sick for 3 weeks as well. So, and then just the challenge. So of course I wanted to start fresh. So the pens that we were on the site before, because I moved, we just packed them all away. And so in this last 2 weeks, we've rephotographed every pen, loaded them on the site, photographed the nibs, got all the names, which is the hardest part about the pen stuff, is finding the names to the blanks. And you'll see on the site there's a few that are still unknown. But just doing all of that for the last 2 weeks has been exhausting. So now going forward, when we do a launch, it'll be 20, 30 pens at a time. We're going to start tracking them from the time we start making them to the time we launch them, to try and keep better handle on the names. If anybody's going through the site and recognize anything that says unknown, please just forward it to me and let me know what the name is. Okie dokie. Thanks everybody for joining. I appreciate it. I will look into the whole announcing it properly. I think there's ways I can do this a lot better, and hopefully get more subscribers on YouTube, because it's going to be the best place to stream. You get the highest quality. I can use my media switcher here to go through the different screens. I can do close-ups. I can share the screen. I'm hopefully going to bring in a nice drafting table, and I'm going to try and get some calligraphy people, good writers in, to do some lessons as well, because I want to actually start to use my pens more as well. But I appreciate everybody coming out. We'll see you next time. Probably 3 or 4 weeks because I actually don't even have any pens made right now. So it's going to be a few weeks before there's another release. But there's plenty of pens on the site. There's probably 3/4 of what's on the site is new. So we will chat later. Thanks, everybody.